Welcome to the ultimate Snake Eyes guide for Master Duel. You will see plays you haven't seen before as we aren't copying TCG combos. These are Master Duel exclusive combos making plays that are banned in the physical card game. Make sure to use the chapters to go to any combo you'd like. The ultimate 2-card combo that is banned in the TCG, the 1-card 1-turn kill combo, how to play through Droll and Imperm combo, plus multiple 1-card combos, and the Decklists. Phantom Nightmare is the newest TCG set featuring huge support for you, Bell, and we're giving away 3 boxes to 3 lucky winners thanks to Whatnot. Whatnot is a live streaming shopping platform where you could shop for boxes, packs, and all of your favorite trading card singles. You could check out some of the great streams happening this weekend for Phantom Nightmare. And if you use my link in the description below for Whatnot, you'll get a free $10 to spend on anything within Whatnot. But that's not all. By using my link in the description below and posting your Whatnot username in the comments below, you'll be entered into the giveaway for the free Phantom Nightmare box. That's whatnot.com/invite/Decade. The giveaway ends on Sunday, so make sure you're signed up before then. Now, before we get into the 1-card combo plays, which there are many within this video, make sure you check out the chapters to go to each play that you want. I'm going to show you the ultimate 2-card combo with this deck that most people do not know about. Why is that? It's because most people are copying the TCG combo for this deck. In Master Duel, we have Sprite Elf. So that card is banned in the TCG, banned in the OCG, legal in Master Duel. Get ready for this. Let's go. We're going to start this off with Ash. Ash on summon, grabbing our Poplar. Poplar, when added from the deck to the hand, will activate to summon itself onto the field, triggering its effect to add from our deck a Snake Eye card. We're going to grab the field spell, which will equip from the deck a Flame Version to the back row. Now you want to get Poplar into the graveyard through summoning Linkuriboh, because Poplar will then equip into the back row. By equipping into the back row, it's going to be much more efficient for sending into the graveyard for a card like Diablo Star or a card like Ash. So we're going to be summoning Diablo Star here, sending the Poplar from the back row so we don't have to send a monster. It's a lot more efficient. That will trigger the Diablo Star to equip from the deck our Sinful Spoils Original. So this is going to be how we get to our level 1 tuner. Very important. We're going to activate it, sending the Linkuriboh to then summon our Jet Synchron from the deck, and then we're going right into our Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon will equip the Linkuriboh, so now it has an Omni Negate. Now we could use the Ash to send the Linkuriboh. We're going to lose the attack on Borreload, but we keep the Negate. Negate anything. Send the Linkuriboh plus itself, summon from the deck an Oak. Oak Reborn from the graveyard or Banish Pile, a level 1 fire. Oak will then send itself plus the Flame Burst to summon another Flame Burst from the deck. You want to send Flame Burst from the back row to trigger its effect as soon as you have at least 2 level 1 fires in the graveyard to Reborn from the grave, which we do. So now we'll activate since it was sent to the grave, Reborn 2 level 1 fires. That would be triggering their effects if we do so on their turn. Now we're going to be making our Formula Synchron. Formula Synchron, 2 level 1s, one of them being a tuner. On summon, draw a card. We're going to not care about that card. We're going to discard it. Now, normally, if you have a Maxi in your hand and another card that you want to discard, you would discard the other card instead. But just to show to you that this is a 2-card combo only. Send the newly drawn card or whatever you have in the hand, reborning the Jet Synchron to then make a Masquerena. Masquerena and the Flame Burge are going to be making the Promethean Princess. Now, to perform this combo, you want to keep the Formula Synchron on the field. A lot of other combo videos I'm seeing, they get rid of the Formula Synchron, and then you're not able to make this Master Duel exclusive play that's way better. Now, we're going to be activating the Promethean Princess, reborn from the graveyard. We want our Flame Burge. Now, there's important things here. I'm summoning the Borreload into the far right on purpose. You can also summon it onto the far left or in the middle. And then I'm summoning the Flame Burge where it's not in the middle, because we want to save the middle for a better card alongside the Borreload, and I will elaborate soon. So we're going to, while being locked in a Fire Monsters Only, link off into banned in the TCG, banned in the OCG, Sprite Elf. Elf is going to reborn from the graveyard, our Formula Synchron, and we're going to put it into that perfect spot, making it untargetable. You can't use Impermanence on Borreload, you can't use Impermanence on the Formula Synchron. Now we're not done. We're going to use the Flame Burge, equip the Masquerena into the back row. Now, why is this so much better than the TCG combos you're seeing a lot of people showcase? It's because in their videos, they're not going to have access to the Masquerena. Their combo videos are just showcasing the Formula Synchron with the Borreload Savage Dragon. So they can make it Baron to floor, then have the Borreload for the Omni Negate. That's great, and the Promethean Princess. But because we use the ability of Sprite Elf, we get access to the Masquerena and the Formula Synchron at the same time, plus have targeting protection. You have to agree, this is way better. All right, now let's pop off. So we're going to be activating the Flame Burst, summoning the Masquerena from the back row here. We could negate an Imperm if we want to, potentially. And then, just like that, we have to make our play in the main phase only. Formula Synchron and Masquerena only activatable during the main phase to then link off or Synchro. In response to the Fenrir, we're going to get Synchroing. Now, this could get a bit complicated here, all right? We're making a Baron de Floor untargetable, can negate and destroy anything. This will trigger the Flame Burst to reborn from the graveyard our Ash and our Poplar. I didn't reborn the Oak because we don't have room to summon another monster onto the field. We're going to activate the Ash, we're going to activate the Poplar, and then you cannot screw this up. If you activate the Masquerena here, you done goofed. You have to link Karibo Chain Link 1. Masquerena Chain Link 2. That's also very important. And then you want Sprite Elf on Chain Link 3. Think of it like a stack from the bottom to the top. We want the Link Karibo to be summoned as the last thing, and then we want the Masquerena to be afterward, or before that, and then we want the Sprite Elf to be the first thing to resolve. That's why we put it on the final chain link, the top of the stack, and then you unstack it backwards. So, tributing with the Link Karibo on the lower chain link. And I say chain link 1, chain link 2, chain link 3, but I mean, we're at chain link 3, 4, 5. So just make sure it is the earlier chain link, and then Elf. So what happens here is, you know, pay attention. This is crazy, isn't this? Look at this. We now have a full field. So how's Link Karibo going to be summoned? It can't be summoned if you screw up the chain link order. So then Masquerena is going to make room. And look at that big fat Link summon into the Apollo USA. Yes. Link Karibo is now here to protect the Apollo USA from being attacked into. I mean, it's 3,200 attack already. So we have Negate, Negate, Quadra, Monster Negate. That is 1, 2, plus 4 negates, 6 negates, and we're not done. Poplar is going to be searching for a follow-up card. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be searching for another follow-up card. We're searching for a Poplar instead of a Kurikara here because we have no fire monsters on the field. So Poplar, come forth and summon from the hand, and Poplar trigger from the back row. So we're not even done with what we could do here. Poplar is now here, and if they were to special summon a monster, the Promethean will then pop the Poplar, plus pop their monster, and they can't attack into the Poplar because the Link Karibo is protecting it. We got Flame Burst into the back row. Raigeki, we're going to negate. Now, you can use Borreload. This negates the activation but doesn't destroy. Baron de Floor negates the activation and destroys. Now, the computer is kind of dumb, and they were not making plays because they were afraid of my Baron de Floor negating and destroying. So I had to Baron de Floor first over the Borreload for that reason. All right, let's go, let's go. Negate and destroy. We still have 4 monster negate plus an activation negate. This is where we could very easily use our Apollo USA. Negate that monster effect, dropping down to 2,400, which now it's susceptible to dying to the Fenrir, but we have, again, the Link Karibo will protect it from dying. So let's see what they do. To battle they go, reduce to 0, protecting the Poplar, and then we could negate with Borreload, we could negate with Apollo, but we're not going to because I want to show you the other disruption we have. And something else that's very cool here is the field spell on normal summon, special summon from the back row. Ain't no way. Look how broken this is. I could not even believe this. We got Flame Burst on the field, and then you are triggering our Promethean Princess. Pop the Poplar, pop the token, or any monster on the field. It doesn't even have to pop the monster that was summoned. That's what's also insane about the Promethean. Promethean Princess locking you into fire only, so making sure to only summon it when we really need to, so that we're able to summon Baron de Floor, which is not a fire, the Borreload, the Link Karibo, the Apollo USA, all non-fires, which the Promethean would stop us from summoning. And just like that, oh my gosh, it's over. So now let's go into a 1-card OTK combo. This is it. This is going to be the most exciting 1-turn kill play you've ever seen. We're not using boring cards like Access Code Talker, none of that nonsense. Get ready for this 1-card combo play using common extra deck cards. Let's do this. Now, we have to draw for our turn. Unfortunately, I couldn't set my hand below that. All right, with just the Snake Eye Ash, we are going to be making the full 1-turn kill, full board wipe. Wipe the entire board. So we're going to be grabbing the Snake Eye Field Spell with the Poplar after adding it to the hand, special summoning it onto the field, linking it off with the Link Karibo to get it into the back row to more efficiently use our Snake Eyes Ash to then send it to the graveyard to summon from the deck an Oak. Oak will reborn from the grave or banishment pile, and that's going to be our Ash. It could be anything here. Then the Field Ice Snake Field Spell will equip by a Flame Burst into the back row. Then we use the Oak to send the Flame Burst to summon a Flame Burst from the deck. Because we have 2 level 1 fires in the graveyard, summon both of them from the grave. And then we're going to use the Flame Burst to push 1 monster back. So we dealt with 1 monster so far. Then we're going to link this off into a Nightmare Phoenix. Now, this is completely optional. You don't have to have the Nightmare Phoenix. It's just a cool additional play here where we could discard a card, pop the monster that we put in the back row, or even pop a back row. Now, what's funny about this is we're co-linked, so we get to draw a card. So Phoenix, draw a card. We're not going to use the Diablo Star, and we did not need to discard. We didn't need to pop. We didn't need the Phoenix, so just understand that. We're going to link this off into the Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess, reborn from the graveyard. Now, it is important that the Phoenix was fire. So you could instead summon a Hida. So if you don't, or even a Pit Knight Earl if you're playing that, Hida would be the replacement and you would not pop a back row if you don't have room to play Phoenix. Now we're summoning the Ambla Whale. The Ambla Whale was sending the Promethean Princess plus another monster, and now we're no longer locked in a fire. We're going to send the Ambla Whale for the World Sea Dragon Zealantis. Activate Zealantis, banish the entire field, then resummon the entire field back onto the field, summoning itself. Now, you want to make sure it is co-linked if you have a monster that could co-link with it, so that's important here. So, you know, Phoenix is ideal because you get to pop the back row, draw, and then co-link with the Zealantis, come forth and summon, but the Pit Knight Earl would actually work here, and we have to summon their monsters back in the field also. Now, we're not done. Because a monster was summoned, we get to trigger our Promethean Princess to pop a card on the field. So we're going to pop our Fire Link, our Link 3 or lower, it's very important. Then pop their monster to summon the Promethean Princess. Then that's going to trigger in the graveyard the Ambla Whale to pop any card in the field. It could pop a back row or a monster. We're going to pop a monster here. And then we're going to go to battle, and only in the battle phase during either player's turn, per co-link, we could pop that many cards in the field. Any card, not just the monsters. We could pop the back row. Again, it just all this could pop back row or monster. Wipe out the monsters, and just like that, we have lethal damage. One of the coolest ways to lethal damage, not using Access Code Talker, and we did so many pops, and this was a 1-card combo. Now for this 1-card combo, we're going to be playing through Droll and Lockbird, which according to the official in-game highest rank of Master Duel rankings, it is used at 64%. We're also going to be playing through Impermanence, but only if they were to draw it on their turn. Let's start this off with our normal summoned Ash. Ash into the Poplar, we're going to be activating. This is when they're going to be dropping that Droll and Lockbird. Both players can no longer add cards from the deck to the hand. So if they were to even Maxi on top of this, Maxi does not work. So with the Poplar being special summoned, we don't get to search, but we want to go for Link Karibo. You generally always want to do this to get the maximum value out of Poplar going into the back row. Then we're going to use Ash and Poplar from the back row to special summon an Oak. Oak reborn from the graveyard, and Ash or Poplar does not matter. Now there's a reason why we want to send the Link Karibo and not the Ash. It is because if we look at the Masquerena, Masquerena cannot be summoned with a Link monster. It needs 2 non-Link monsters, and you always want to be looking for the opportunity of having the Flameburst Dragon plus a non-Link monster to make that Masquerena. You're about to see why. So putting these two together, making the Masquerena, as we said, not possible with the Link Karibo, that will trigger the Flameburst to summon 2 monsters from the graveyard onto the field. So we essentially have a Link 2 plus 2 monsters, so it's a value of 4. So with the value of 4, what can we do? We can perform a Link 3. And now this Link 3, Promethean Princess, locking us into fire monsters only, can replenish a body back onto the field, but we're locked in a fire only. So come forth and summon from the graveyard. Flameburst Dragon's going to be the one we want to summon. And then we're going to further link this off into our Amphibious Swarm, Ambla Whale, whatever you want to call it. Now, we're not done. We want to activate the Flame Burst to equip into the back row our Masquerena. We want to continually use Flame Burst to use and abuse Masquerena, even the Diablo Star, or you want to use Formula Synchron, but Formula Synchron and Masquerena are going to be better. Now, let's see what this does during the opponent's turn. And remember, we played through Droll and Lockbird. Now, this is where if the opponent were to have an Impermanence on their turn, they would activate it onto our Flame Burst to negate our effect to summon a Masquerena. Well, the problem with that is the Impermanence requires them to have no cards on the field. So if we just wait and don't activate, they can't Imperm. So let's pretend like they have an Impermanence here. They're gonna draw, can't. If they Imperm right now, I would then chain the Flame Burst, special summon Masquerena. So obviously they would not want that to happen. So they're waiting for me to activate. So instead, they commit to the field. I can now safely activate my Flame Burst. They're not gonna be able to Impermanence. Now in response to this Fenrir, we're gonna be popping off right now. Flame Burst activates, summon Masquerena. And what's great about this is if they activate the Fenrir to banish anything on the field, we're going to chain our Masquerena right to it. It does not matter what they target. They are going to trigger their effect, targeting the Masquerena. We're going to chain Masquerena, and we're going to link off the entire field. Link 2 +1/+1 is going to be our Link 4 Apollo USA. That is going to be our triple monster negate. Now that's going to trigger our Flame Burge when sent to the grave, reborn 2 monsters from the graveyard here. First, we're going to be summoning the Ash and the Oak. We want to chain link block the Ash with the Oak, so if they were to have an Ash to stop Ash, they can't because we blocked it with the Oak. Now, we're going to be targeting our Poplar to summon from the grave with the Oak, and it could summon from the banish pile also. Ash will resolve. Now, you don't have to search for the Curry card Divine Incarnate, but just to show you how versatile this deck is, how powerful it is on the follow-up, this is able to tribute the opponent's field of any monster that activates during your turn, and then you just wham bam thank you ma'am them. Now, let's resolve, activate the Poplar, and this is where we want to get a Link Kribo on the field. The biggest counter to Apollo USA is attacking into her. Every time she negates, she loses her attack on every negate. So with the Link Kribo on the field, we could reduce an opposing monster's attack to 0 attack. So right now, he would be able to just Fenrir, swing into Apollo, and that's it. We lose her, no negate. But because of Link Kribo, not possible. And also the Poplar, we're grabbing a Sinful Spoils to be used on the follow-up. The Poplar is going to be triggered when sent to the grave to equip into the back row a Flame Burge. And this is where the Fenrir could swing into the Apollo, but Link Kribo, reduced to 0 attack until the end of the turn. That's it. She's fully protected, triple monster negate. Now, following up with the Mo Yi, we could negate this, but I do want to showcase to you our other disruption, the Promethean Princess. So just remember, we have 3 monster negate where we could have used it right here. And that is going to, on that token summon, trigger our Promethean Princess, pop any of our fires, plus one of their cards will pop their token and come forth and summon. Just like that, still having our triple monster negate. Is this not great or what? Playing through Droll and the Impermanence? Let's go. Now what happens when the opponent has no disruption for your 1-card combo? I'm going to show you the best combo. 1 card. Let's go. We're going to be abusing Sprite Elf and Syncering. Let's do it. So Ash is going to be summoned, activating to grab our Poplar here. Poplar on ad's going to activate, summon onto the field, activate to grab the Sinful Spoils. That will give us access to our level 1 tuner from the deck. Of course, we want to make Link Kribo get the Poplar into the back row here. And then using the Sinful Spoils, sending the back row to special summon our Jet Synchron. Now we're going to use the Ash to send the Link Kribo to special summon an Oak. Oak reborn from the graveyard, any of our level 1s, it does not matter. We're going to then send the Ash with the Oak to summon a Flame Burge Dragon from the deck. Now we want to link them off into our Masquerena. What's great about the Flame Burge and the Oak, it does not care if they're Snake Eyes or not. They just want them to be level 1 fires. So we are reborning our Jet Synchron with the Flame Burge being sent to the grave by summoning the Masquerena. Remember, that's a high priority. We're going to be then synchroing into the Formula Synchron play. On Synchro Summon, draw a card. We do not care about this card. We're just going to discard it. So we're pretending like it's a blank card. So Jet Synchron, discarding our newly drawn card. Now, of course, with a full card, our turn 1 hand, you will discard the most optimal card you want to and keep the better card. So discard with Jet Synchron, and then we're going to be linking this off into Promethean Princess. With the Promethean Princess, we're going to be reborning from the graveyard the Flame Burge. Now, we have an issue. It is Locherness and a fire only, so we are severely restricted on all the cool things that we could summon from the extra deck. But one of the most powerful cards in existence of Yu-Gi-Oh! Banned in OCG, banned in the TCG, it is Sprite Elf. Now, okay, maybe I'm being a little sarcastic. It's not the most powerful card ever, but it's banned everywhere but Master Duel, so why are we not abusing it? Right now, it's giving the Flame Burge protection, untargetable, so if the opponent were to have an Impermanence for the next turn, can't use it on the Flame Burge. We're going to then Reborn from the graveyard. I'm going to put it into the other arrow, so the Formula Synchron can also not be negated during the opponent's turn. But we're not done. Flame Burge equip into the back row, our Masquerena. So, I mean, look how incredible this is. We have Synchro and a Baron to floor. We have Synchro, I should say, link into then Apollo USA. We have the Sprite Elf making us completely untargetable on the Formula Synchron and the Snake Eyes Flame Burge. Let's see how this plays out. So we are going to, in the draw phase here, we don't have to play around in permanents. Who cares? Just summon that Masquerena. Come forth. All right, let's see what you got. You got anything? So we can't activate Formula Synchron or the Masquerena until the main phase. So the turn player has player priority to perform the first action. If they set a card with our toggle on, we could then start popping off with our synchroing and linking. So their first action is going to be summoning a Fenrir, which is going to be quite uncommon today. You know, we still want to show the power of this deck of what we could do against a Fenrir here. So I'm going to be activating the Formula Synchron with the Flame Burge, making our Baron to floor. Now, I know we keep on repeating this, the big downside of Promethean Princess locking you into fire monsters really comes up during your opponent's turn. You want to be able to pop off with your Formula Synchron and Masquerena before you commit to your Promethean Princess play, which would then lock you into that fire only, which Baron to floor is not fire, Apollo USA is not fire, so now Baron to floor, untargetable, and if the Fenrir were to activate, it would only be activatable on the Elf or the Masquerena. Flame Burge is being triggered, come forth and summon, summon. And then we have the Ash activating and the Oak activating to Reborn from the graveyard and search our deck. We're now going to be activating Masquerena, also chain activating Elf to Reborn from the grave. So come forth and summon here, Formula Synchron, Masquerena, fully link it up into an untargetable Apollo USA. And then reborning that Poplar, which Poplar could be sent to the grave for our Link Kuriboh. This is one card, and we have searched for Kurikara to be used next turn to completely wipe up their field if they were to even stop us somehow. We haven't even Baron to floor negated yet. Come forth, Link Kuriboh. So if you were to attack into Sprite Elf, it's not going to die. I'm going to reduce you to 0. Poplar is going to be equipping to the back of our Flame Burge. We have a Raigeki. The Apollo USA cannot be destroyed by that Raigeki, but our Baron to floor, Link Kuriboh, and Sprite Elf all can be destroyed by it. So we're going to just negate. Why not? We have 4 more monster negates on top of that, and we still have our Promethean Princess in the grave, ready to be summoned. Elf is going to be targeted for the banishment. We're going to be negating that, definitely. And the Elf being fire is going to be perfect for our Promethean Princess to destroy it. So to battle you go, can't take out the Elf, so you can't turn off our Promethean Princess here. So we got that Elf protection, and then they're going to be committing to a special summon. What we could do is we could just monster negate it, but I really want to show you the Promethean Princess plays. So don't negate, hold it, come forth, summon that token, and then trigger the Promethean Princess, pop the Elf, pop the token, come forth and summon, and just like that, one card follow-up, big play still on the field. Insanity. All right, maybe you don't want to play Jet Synchron, which not everyone is playing, 12% at 0, or maybe you don't want to play Sprite Elf. So let me show you what would be the best play without Sprite Elf and without Jet Synchron. Let's go. So standard, Ash is going to be activating, adding the Poplar. Poplar activates, summon itself onto the field, activate, grab. This is going to be the card which would help you make the second best turn 1 play without synchroing. This is a very important card for this because this will be grabbing a Diablo-Star from the deck into your back row, and then it will be summoning it during the end phase. So you're about to see why this is going to be so good. All right, let's keep on going. Again, you always want to make the value with the Poplar, getting it into our back row by summoning a Link Kuriboh. And then we're sending our back row, not a monster, with our Ash to then summon an Oak. Oak, reborn from the graveyard, the Ash. And then Oak is going to be sending the Link Kuriboh because we want to be able to make a Masquerena. So we summon a Flame Burge from the deck, make that Masquerena play. Really standard here. Trigger the Flame Burge, reborn 2 level 1 fires from the graveyard, link this off into our Promethean Princess, reborn the Flame Burge from the graveyard back onto the field, activate to equip the Masquerena into the back row, link off into the Ambo Whale. Now, this is when we can activate the Snake Eye Chase to have the second best turn 1 play without being able to synchro by equipping the Diablo Star Black Witch into the back row. Now, during the end phase, it will be activatable to then summon the Diablo Star onto the field. And then she's going to be putting to the back row a very nice card. This will be the Sinful Spoils of Betrayal. What's really good about this card is if your opponent were to max C you and you have a Diablo Star in your opening hand, this is the card you're going to want to set from your deck because it's a really basic play that's going to be able to negate any card in the field. Spell, trap, monster, negate it by sending a Diablo Star from the field or from your hand to the grave. So again, they max C you. Okay, Diablo Star set this up plus all your other hand traps. You should very easily be able to play through their next turn on the follow-up. And that's why I really like a card like this. So let's see what we could do and how we play with the Amber Whale. So there, we're going to, in the draw phase here, I'm not playing around an Imperm. I could negate it if I want to. So if they were to Impermanence, I would just negate simply. Come forth and summon our Masquerena. And now we can only activate the Masquerena in the main phase. I'm going to be triggering my Promethean Princess early on the summon of the Fenrir. So we're going to be targeting the Snake Eye Flameburge to destroy it. Then I'm going to chain Masquerena to link off of the Flameburge and the Amber Whale. So link it all up. That's going to be link 2 +1 into the link 4 Apollo USA. Triple Monster Negate. Goodbye to the Fenrir. Come forth, Promethean Princess. Now, we're only summoning fire monsters from the grave here, so it's okay to trigger off that Promethean Princess early. Now, the only issue is we're not going to be able to summon a Link Karibo because it is dark. So the Link Karibo protects the Apollo USA from being attacked into. You do lose out on that by summoning the Promethean Princess early. We're searching for the follow-up, the Sinful Spoils, the Kurikara. And then here comes a fat Raigeki. Holy moly. So we lost everything. Now the trap is trash. We just have an exposed Apollo USA. So what's going to happen here? Let's start triggering. And by the way, it did not get destroyed because of the Masquerena. The Diablo Star, when sent to the graveyard, is going to reborn back onto the field. Let's go. Poplar is going to be on the higher chain link here to equip a card into the back row. Because we don't want to send a card we control from the hand to the grave to summon that Diablo Star, and it's not a cost. It's effect to reborn from the grave. So by properly chain linking it, reborn, I should say equip the Poplar, then send the Poplar to summon our Diablo Star Black Witch back on the field through a Raigeki, and then search for and set up another follow-up. Look how resilient this deck is. And we have the Mo-Yi. Reveal, summon a token here, and we could just simply negate. Now, we could Apollo USA instead to negate, but I do want to just show you the power of this negate where it could just negate anything. I'm not saying this is ideal. We probably would much rather use the Apollo USA than they could attack over it, then we have negate anything afterward. Now, generally, they're not going to have Raigeki, and this itself, sending the Diablo Star to the grave, will trigger her effect to reborn onto the field and then search and set the Wanted Seeker, as we just saw from the Raigeki. All right, there you go. Negated, can't take out the Apollo. And this was the second best play one-card combo, with the Synchro one being better, but maybe you don't want to play Sprite Elf or play Synchros because the extra deck could get quite tight. Now allow me to show you the most standard one-card combo with this deck without using Jet Synchron, without the Snake Chase, and this combo is fully replicatable with just Diablo Star plus any other card in your hand. It's going to give you the exact same field, but you will also have an additional normal summon if you want to use that too. Otherwise, this is the play. We're going to start this off like we do normally. Ash, add our Poplar. Poplar, activate, special summon itself onto the field. Search our deck for the field spell and not for the original Sinful that would summon a level 1 tuner from the deck instead. So we're going to be activating the field spell, which will equip a Snake Eye from the deck into our back row. We're going to now be making Link Karibo. That's standard to get the Poplar in the grave to activate to put it into our back row to then send it to the grave for our Oak. Now, why wouldn't we send the Flameburge? Because we wouldn't then have 2 level 1 monsters in the grave to trigger the Flameburge. So it's going to be Oak. Oak's going to reborn from the graveyard. And now that we would have 2 level 1 fires, instead of going into a Masquerena with the Flameburge, we could send the Flameburge in the back row thanks to the field spell to summon another Flameburge from the deck and then trigger the one in the grave to summon 2 level 1s from the grave. So come forth, Oak and Poplar. Then we're going to link this off now into the Masquerena. So we're either using the Masquerena to trigger the Flameburge, or you'll be using the Oak or Ash effect, sending Flameburge from the back row generally to trigger its effect once we have the level 1 fires necessary to summon from the grave. So now let's link this off. Link 2 +1 into the Promethean Princess. We're now locked into fire only. That's okay. Reborn from the graveyard, our Flameburge Dragon. Now, this is where things deviate a little bit from what other people are doing. If you have enough monsters on the field, I would always advise to make the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf instead of going right into the Ambler Whale. So if we didn't have another level 1 monster on the field, we would make the Ambler Whale, equip the Masquerena into the back row with the Flameberge, then end our turn. But because we have that level 1 and the ability to make the Sunlight Wolf, which is just another monster plus the Promethean, we're going to do this combo instead. So that's going to be using Linkuriboh to tribute our level 1. And it has to be behind the Sunlight Wolf, triggering its effect to reborn from the graveyard. Our Flameberge, I should say, add back to the hand, not reborn. Now, it's very important here is the Sunlight Wolf and the Linkuriboh are different attributes. So now we could summon, after we use the Flameberge to equip the Masquerena, we are summoning our Heatsoul, which has a hefty requirement of 2+ Cyberse monsters with different attributes. And now we could draw a card every single turn, and it's fire, meeting the requirement for Promethean to pop it, plus another card in the field. Let's get drawn. Hopefully you draw in hand traps here, or even back row, or maybe even extenders, which we weren't that lucky. We get to draw again. Now, us drawing Imperm is going to remind us that we want to maybe play around impermanence here, so I'm not going to activate the Flameberge. Let's pretend like Imperm is in their hand, and they can't activate it because we'll chain the Flameberge to the impermanence. So they're going to commit to a card in the field. Now we could safely activate the Flameberge, activate it. We could have also triggered the Promethean Princess, but I think this plays a bit better here because the Promethean Princess locks us into fire only. So we're going to be summoning our Masquerena. That will then trigger the Fenrir if they want to use it. And then we're going to be chain using Masquerena to link off with our Heatsoul, which will count for 1, Masquerena, which will count for 2, and the Flameberge, which will count for 1. 1 + 1 + 2 equals Apollo USA with triple monster negate. Trigger the Flameberge, reborn 2 monsters from the grave. The Ash will search, we'll chain link block the search with the Oak, reborning the Poplar from the grave. And this combo is going to be a little bit different than the other one, so do pay attention to this. Add from our hand our Kurikara, which we like to be flexing. Poplar search, Linkuriboh tribute over, so that's going to be protecting our Apollo USA from being attacked into, as we're going to reduce any monster to 0 attack here. And then, this is where things get a little bit interesting. We have the field spell, so I'm going to be funny here and equip a Heatsoul. So if they normal or special summon, that's going to special summon Heatsoul back onto the field. Now, they got that Raigeki, wiping up our entire monsters, but the Apollo USA does not die because Masquerena protected her. And that normal summon, not even special or normal, will trigger the field spell to special summon even a monster from their back row. So their back row, your back row, summon the monster. So come forth and summon. So the field spell definitely makes the mirror match really funny. So come forth. And we are going to be summoning our Heatsoul, which we can now get back to drawing a card every turn with. Except we want to disrupt them with our Promethean Princess. So Promethean Princess will take out the Heatsoul to take out the token. Now, if you wanted to, you could have used Apollo USA to negate the Mo Yi. You would have to say no to your field spell, though, and you would not summon the Heatsoul. All right, come forth and summon. And just like that, this is going to be what the standard turn 1 play would be. We drew 2, we searched, we added, we searched. We have 5 cards in our hand, in addition to what our opening hand would be, an additional 4 other cards. So we'd have potentially 9 cards in our hand right now. Now for a 1-card Poplar play. Poplar on summon, activating, searching our deck for the original Sinful Spoils. Of course, we want to link this off into Linkuriboh to then get our Poplar into the back row to get the maximum value here. We don't want to use a monster for sending a card to the grave. Ideally, we send a back row. Now we got to our Ash. Ash will be searching for, if you don't want to search for another Poplar, or maybe you don't have another Poplar, you could instead search for a Birch. Birch is another card, but a lot of people are also not playing this card. I am not playing it myself, but I'm going to go back and forth with this. But this would also work. It could special summon itself onto the field. Now, Poplar being added will activate to special summon itself onto the field. Then the Ash will be sending the Ash to, I should say, the Poplar to special summon an Oak. Oak will reborn any monster from the grave. Then we're going to send the Linkuriboh because we want to be able to make a Masquerena. And then, you know, this is all really familiar to you, huh? This is pretty much the same plays we've been making, but doing so with Poplar instead. So we are going to be reborning. We're going to link this off into the Promethean, reborn from the grave, come forth. And then we're going to equip the Masquerena. And except instead of going into our Sunlight Wolf, because we don't have enough monsters in the field, we're going to go straight into the Ambler Whale. And just like that, we're going to be able to reborn the Masquerena, link off into an Apollo USA. Let's see what we do here, actually. So I'm going to play right into an Impermanence for this replay, just for the sake of showing you what we could do here. And then they're going to summon. We're going to be activating Masquerena, linking off their Fenrir. That's right, you can make a goddess here instead, if you want, of an Apollo USA. So there you go. We could negate the ability to reborn from the grave, and it's unaffected unless it's directly targeted by a card effect. So we're going to be reborning with the Flame Burst. We're going to reborn again with the Poplar, search our deck for the Kurikara, and then we're going to get a Link Rebo out. Not that we really need it because we don't have an Apollo USA. And then the Poplar is going to be triggering, equipping to the back with the Flame Burst. They got the Mo Yi. That's fine. On special summon, trigger the Promethean, pop one of our fires, pop the token, and wham bam, thank you ma'am. Poplar going into Apollo or Poplar going into the Goddess play. And then we're going to toss in a Raigeki here. Why not? Goddess is unaffected from Raigeki. Also can't be destroyed. Well, because you destroyed our Link 3, that also triggers our Ambo Whale to pop any card in the field. Get poppin'. Wipe out that Mo Yi. Ain't no way. Now, for you to stay up to date on the best way to play Snake Eye, you could do it through many ways. We're going to do it through going through the tier list and then clicking on Snake Eye because it's already on the tier list. Otherwise, you can click on the search, type in Snake Eye, click on any card, or you can click on the deck type filter here, click on Snake Eye, and through clicking on the card method, you would then click on the Snake Eye breakdown. Now that we are on the breakdown, I'm going to use the tournament only filter. These are going to be potentially the best way to play this deck, but this is still really early data. This is mostly from a first day tournament where I believe a lot of people were copying the TCG way to play the deck, not playing Sprite Elf. So let's look at some deck lists and I'll show you a good Sprite Elf deck list also. So here are some tournament deck lists. You could see that, screenshot that in addition to the breakdown itself. So you could see right there, I'll zoom out a little bit. You could see there also, Shelmy is a good player. If we click on their name, for example, you'll see all their tournament tops and all their past tournament top and deck list, and the list is long. So this is a good trusted deck list. They're even playing a card like Subversion, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of, but I haven't really tested too much of. Now, if you want to see a deck that is playing the Sprite Elf, this is from Denliner that got Master 1. Now, what makes Denliner's deck even spicier is they are playing Herald of Arc Light, which I did not showcase in the video because I instead summoned a bigger Apollo USA. Now, if you want to summon a smaller one, you can then use Sprite Elf to re-summon the Formula Synchron that you already activated. That's right, Formula Synchron can be used more than once per turn, even the same Formula Synchron, and then you could synchro Formula Synchron plus 2 other Snake Eyes into a Herald of Arc Light, giving you another negate, and any card sent to the graveyard from the hand or from the deck is going to be banished instead. Don't forget to use one button importing from the website by just clicking on to Master Duel from the share button. It's a one button after you set it up properly, which will explain it to you after clicking it for the first time. Clicking on that, boom, just like that, going on over to the Konami official website. And now it's officially imported in-game by clicking on copy link deck list. And that is it for the video. I would greatly appreciate it if you support my sponsor down below if you're watching within when the sponsor is valid. Otherwise, thank you for getting this far into the video. You can check me out on twitch.tv/Decade. We're streaming every single Sunday unless a new pack released, and then we stream on that day instead of the Sunday. We're doing a $1,000 tournament qualifier on every single stream on every week. I hope to see you there. Make sure you say hi to me in the chat and all that good stuff. We are out.